a red t-shirt and you said you don't like red t-shirts, then the common response would be, well, work somewhere else. But imagine if the entire world were, or the whole of Ghana, or like the whole of West Africa were only filled with Coca-Cola offices. Then in that case, the calculation is a bit different, right? The corporation has like such a gravity, right? That they have like planets where just like orbit, right? And so in that case, you might argue, and people have made the case that you need certain fundamental rules and various entrenched rights, like a right to freedom of expression, property, etc. Because the power is so overwhelming that you can't just say find another country to live in, right? Similarly, one could make the same case, like the influence of Google, Facebook, YouTube, Amazon is so overwhelming. Their gravity is so large. They are planet-sized corporations, such that I to say go somewhere else if you don't like it here is spelling doom for a lot of these journalists and another thing is a public policy consideration. And public policy is just uh, um, considering that um, that there are certain things which need to be in place for society to be cohesive, right? And outlets. That is where most generated from before it trickles upwards. And so to cut them of the source of revenue they used to get might spell doom for these local news services that the public really needs. So those are the two considerations that um, that yeah, sorry about that. So the final guess, the last, certainly not the least, is Mr. Edwin Della. But before that, just a quick reminder: the chat was disabled for the first half of the webinar. It's been enabled now. And so if you have any comments, questions, kindly drop them in there and we will dutifully respond to them. So to discuss how best brands and individuals can protect their intellectual property on social media, the future of intellectual property on social media, and how brand nerds can help individuals, corporate persons promote their intellectual property on social media. We have Mr. Edwin Del years of experience in the industry. He's a visionary leader with a proven track record of building and growing successful brands. As the founder and CEO of one of Ghana's leading marketing agencies, Brand Nerds Limited has a wealth of experience in creating, executing effective marketing strategies that drive business growth. He's not just a branding and marketing expert, he's also deeply passionate about youth skills development and growth mindset development. He believes investing in the next generation is key to long-term success. That's why he's also Chief Strategy Officer at Ghana Skills Hub, an organization that empowers young people to develop the skills they need to succeed in today's changing world. With his great passion for the tech world, he built and founded Ghana's first AI All right. Sorry about that. So, Mr. Edwin Della is known for his ability to think strategically and outside the box. He has deep understanding of the Ghanaian market and is trained in developing tailored solutions to meet the unique needs of his clients. He is also a fantastic communicator, and you can trust that your brand will be in good hands with this gentleman. Has a wealth of experience, partner for youth development, which makes him an ideal guest for this panel. With that being said, I welcome Mr. Edwin Della to take it away. Thank you.
All right, thank you all very much. 1 minute. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone. I hope the session has been engaging enough, and kudos to all the speakers that came earlier on. I love the submissions that they've shared with us. One thing I don't like about participants in sessions like this, especially for educative sessions like this, that you can learn a lot from is being mute. So with all due respect and with all due appreciation, kindly say something in the comment section. Let's know you're still with us, because the comment section or the message section is looking quite dry. I learned it was on restriction earlier on, but now I think it's open. So if you are online and you've enjoyed so far, kindly share something in the comment section. Let us know the valuable information being shared over here is helping you and you're learning something new from it. All right, so with that being said, my session basically has been covered by the previous two speakers. Amazing submissions and amazing insights that they shared. They've covered everything that I'm supposed to cover, but I still have a few things to share. So I'll just walk you through quickly, and then we'll cover one or two things inside here. Now, most of them have mentioned a couple of key keywords that if you are not really familiar with, or you don't really understand what they mean and how they came about, you might be missing a little about the understanding of the whole session we are having. So I'm going to walk you through some of the keywords that they are using, the meaning of them, and then how to implement them in your business, and then how to take advantage of them to help your business and protect your content online and then offline as well. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so basically, I'm going to cover all this within the next 20 minutes, hopefully. We are going to look at the definitions, and then when it comes to the intellectual property, what different types are there, the common breaches on social media, the importance of them, and then how to protect your intellectual property, the future of it, and then how BrandNet or myself can assist you. Okay, I've heard from Nana Sewa also. Thank you, thank you. Please comment and then share your thoughts as we move along. Don't make it a boring session. This is a very expensive session that if we are to be charging for, I'm sure most of you would have run away from the class. Anyway, so when it comes to understanding the scope of intellectual property or protecting your content online, the whole content coming online and then having the diversity of it reaching global platform from your small room, having the engagement session where you can easily end up wounding someone online or engaging in some unlawful comment online that can go beyond just your room and just having fun online. Before we got to this stage, there was still copyright information, there was still intellectual property protection management and all that. Before we got to this stage, intellectual property and all these things used to be in a well-structured manner where you know exactly where your content is, you know when it spreads from position A to position B or from media A to media B, you know exactly who spread that information. So you're able to trace back and then either block that content from reaching beyond boundaries or stopping that content from being spread forcefully or in any other way. That was the traditional media. So if, let's say, company A is trying to do a media publicity probably in the late 1990s and beyond, the first thing they will do is to go to a media station, probably a TV station, a radio station, or a newspaper to publicize whatever information that they have. And that information that they share, however they share it, is that same information that spreads across, no matter where the medium is found. It's not going to be twisted in any way. It's not going to be said anyway. It's not going to be rephrased by anyone just to make, clout out of it to get people chasing their pages and all that. So before, content was well moderated, content was well modified that you wouldn't have traces of it leaking out anywhere unless you give access to it. But in today's modern digital era, you can't really control what's going on. A typical example that would enlighten us before we go into the session further is I'm sure most of you remember the funeral guys. I think they are Tema boys or so that used to dress, the pallbearers that used to dress and then carry the coffin around. You see how their content spread from Ghana here all the way to the global stages that international news media platforms picked it up and all that. Luckily enough for them, they got some compensation from their content that they used to put out there. But just imagine they didn't know anything about it and nobody came to their aid to help them make some money out of it. I think at the end of it, they made about $1 million or something, and then they donated it to some foundations and all that. But let's say they didn't have any idea about it. Nobody came in to support them when their content was going that viral. That money that would have been made, the top media agencies that would pick that up, or whoever comes across that media and be the pioneer to be pushing that content out there, that person is going to be the one earning from that media that is going out there or circulating globally. If that person knows how to utilize content creation management, if you know how to utilize that, then you know that this content I'm putting out here is going to make me more money. This content that is being shared here is going to be making me more money because they're using my content to promote other stuff. So understanding that basic concept of how a local champion over here, in fact, it wasn't even a champion, they weren't even champions over here, they were just a group of people doing their work diligently until someone took a video of them and then posted it and then they picked that from there. So someone from Ghana here humbly doing his work. Probably most of us will not enjoy doing that work. But through the power of social media and through the power of the digital era, they were able to go on a global scale, going for interviews globally and all that, performing at various locations and all that, and their content being used at the global stage. So understanding all this gives us a roadmap to follow. Now, let me cover some of the things that we need to know or terminologies that we need to know before we get into the saturated aspect of it. Now, moving from the traditional media to the digital media, some of the challenges that we face is that we realize that markets are saturated or content is saturated now. the monetization struggles, if you don't understand how to monetize your content, if you don't understand how to go about monetizing your content, it causes a lot of content gaps between your works that you do. Someone can overtake your content and then you don't know what to do about it because you don't even understand the importance and the benefits of having your content protected. Then, in terms of technological change, you realize how TikTok example of late, I realized that people can just go on TikTok and then pick another person's content, create a similar channel to that, rename it, and then copy and paste the person's content. And because people are used to knowing that particular person with that kind of face, that kind of content, once they see it, sometimes, in fact, most times people don't even check the username, they just follow the account and then start liking or commenting on those videos. Once the original creator is still there. So for stuff like that, if you find yourself around those areas, kindly cross-check the username and then make sure what you're commenting probably might be something good, but in sections where it's not something good, it's something negative, and you go on there and also go and comment negative stuff, it goes a long way to hurt us in the way. And I'm sure most of you are aware that now, even traveling, when you're traveling, they ask for social media handles to check what you do online, your online engagement, what you comment on, the type of comment you make and all that. That can even get you a visa denial. So posting online and then commenting online is all part of the intellectual property protection. And how to go about it also is also important. The rest of the things here, I think I don't want to get too technical. So let's come here. When it comes to intellectual property, it basically refers to the creation of mind, such as invention, literally artistic works, anything that you create, let me put it in a simpler way, anything that you create and put out there is your content. Hence, you need to protect that content you put out there. If, to make it more visual, let's say you post a picture of yourself in a suit and tie, standing in an office, and the next minute someone picks or cuts off your face and put it on a naked picture somewhere or a naked video somewhere and claims you are the one in that picture. Clearly, you know you didn't post that content online. You know what you posted. You know why your face was looking that way in that particular picture or video, and why has it been placed in another content or in another instance. Understanding how this works and then knowing that what the person did is wrong now gives you the space for you to go after your content, sue that person, claim damage repairs and all that on the content that they've misused. So understanding your copyright situation or your copyright idea on what you are posting online, hence protect your content for you. So no one can take your content and then go and post it elsewhere. Now, when it comes to copyright, there are some terms and terminologies that we need to understand and know how to apply them when we are putting out content out there. When it comes to copyright, it's basically protecting the originality of the content you're putting out there, from music to artworks to softwares to everything you put out there. Even your books and everything, they are all protected by your copyright laws. When it comes to trademark is basically protecting your identity online in terms of your symbols, in terms of your logo, in terms of the slogans you use online and all those things. So you can't go and pick Apple's logo and go and put it somewhere else, or twist Apple logo in a certain way and assume that people will buy into it. They can easily sue you because you are misusing their trademark logo for something else. Another term that we need to understand are the patents. They are to protect inventions. So if you come up with a new software, if you come up with a new product or IT-related product, easily you need to create a patent for that to protect the idea that you're coming out with. So it's just basically protecting the idea that you're coming up with so that the inventor or you as the owner of that particular software have full right and authority over it so that nobody can go and pick that and then claim ownership of it. Trade secrets are basically confidential information that protects businesses or individuals in a certain space from their competitors. So the Coca-Cola versus Pepsi situation, they are trade secrets that can never be leaked. And recently I was reading about Coca-Cola's trade secrets in terms of their secret ingredients that make Coca-Cola very nice. And I learned there are only two people in the whole company who don't know the secret ingredients to that. And they are never allowed to travel on the same plane. They are never allowed to go to two meetings, the same meeting together. They are always separated. So just in case something happens, one is protected in case they lose one. So that's how to protect your trade secrets. And a company of that huge capacity, only two people in the whole company have the power to either ruin the company or keep the company going. So that's how important intellectual property can be. Now, what are some of the significance of having intellectual property for yourself or your business? It helps with economic growth. It helps in protecting the creators, you putting content out there. I do YouTubing most of the times. I do content around business, productivity, and all that. When I put out my content out there, I'm trying to remember his name. Yes, is it Which I'm sure I pronounced your name properly. He did mention that the YouTube copyright system. When I upload the content, that you come and pick my content and post it on YouTube on another channel that I have no idea about. YouTube will prompt me that someone has taken your content. What do you want to do? Do you want to delete it? Do you want to ban the person? Do you want the person to get a copyright strike? I can determine what happens to the person for using my content without my permission. Aside that, when I use music in the editing process and I post it online and I don't have rights to use that music, we are going to take that music out of the content or make sure the content is not visible to everyone around. So if I'm posting content out there, I know exactly what I'm posting. I know what is inside that content. And even if you come and take me, like you were saying earlier on, those who come and react to content, their credentials and all that. Yes, it's fun to do, but there are a lot of ins and outs about it. And if you're not careful about it, you end up misquoting someone, you end up, the defamation lawsuits are all there to face you. So when you are trying to do that kind of content, also, you have to be fully aware of what you're trying to do. You have to be fully aware of the type of things you say out there. So you don't just come out and then try to be a reactor and pick anybody's content, misquote the content just to make traffic to your page or just to push people to come and visit your content or make you go viral. That's not how it works. If you are trying to chase clout that way, probably you end up in the courtroom trying to explain what you did, and then you might not have the right words to fit in there. Also, another advantage of it is that it gives you strategic business assets. It helps protect your business product. It helps protect your individual business assets as well, in terms of your name, in terms of your identity and all that. Having intellectual property in place for your businesses and all that and yourself helps protect you online and then offline as well. That's why you're able to defend certain people when their names are mentioned at certain places. Now, it encourages fair competition, which I mentioned earlier on, that I can't come and pick anyone's content and then post it on my channel and claim ownership for that. It's not done anywhere, especially if we are all advanced and well knowledgeable about intellectual property and then how they work. We realize that you can't just go and pick anyone's content and be posting it out there. If you can't just go and pick someone's content and misquote them and assume that you are trying to create content also, you're not trying to create content. It's either you're adding on to what the person say in a positive light, but not degrading what the person said in a negative light, all for the purpose of getting the numbers or getting people to come and then comment on your page or visit your page or follow you. Now, some of the importance of having or safeguarding your IP addresses or intellectual property on digital platforms is that it gives you the nature to control what you post out there and then how they go out there as well. Nobody can come and pick your content, rewrite them for you and claim that you should have said it this way or should have said it that way. In that way, it gives you accessibility to be able to protect what you're putting out there, how you modify what you're putting out there, and then how people also understand what you're putting out there. You don't misquote and assume that the people reading or listening to you are going to understand you in a positive way. Also, it helps with rapid spread. If your content is spreading out there and you have IP protection in place, it's going to help you make money from that as well. It's going to help in the monetary value aspect of it. And your content can go viral anyhow. It can go viral at any time. It can go viral when you don't even think that content is supposed to go viral. I'm sure most of the times, most of us see content out there that have gone viral that you watch and then you don't understand why that content has gone viral. And the person who have posted that themselves don't even have any idea that their content is going viral until someone prompts them or someone helps them, work around the virality of their content that's going online. Also, when it comes to protecting your IP address online, it helps with reputation management. So I can't wake up today and go and quote or misquote any I don't use the name politicians. So I can't wake up and go and misquote, let's say, the CEO of MTN Ghana after he has done an interview because of reputation, because of how he has presented himself to the public, because of the name he has built for himself. I can't go out there and then misquote him after an interview. I can't go out there and fight him digitally based on some comments he made or based on an expression he made. Because of reputation management, I'm also thinking of myself that if I go on and go and take him on, how am I going to look in the picture? What if he comes out and then explains himself better? Would I still look good in the picture? If I'm to go out there and then, position myself as someone who is trying to destroy his hard work and reputation, how is that going to help me? How is that going to hurt me? When you understand all these things, you know how to play your cards properly when it comes to the digital aspect. After this. So when it comes to copyrights, like all the speakers have mentioned earlier on, there are laws in place. In Ghana here, there are various laws that protect intellectual property, copyright infringements, and all those things. When you don't know them, you might think they are not valuable. You might think they are not important until you get into trouble when they are quoting all those laws to you and realize that you've made a big mess of yourself. So to the listeners and to the participants, sorry, to the participants in the comment in the session, be well aware that there are laws in place in terms of copyright situations, in terms of intellectual property infringements and all that. There are laws in place in case you don't know. So what you put online can go a long way to hurt you. If someone comes up and say you said this about me and I feel this a defamatory comment you made about me, I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to sue you. They can do it if they know the laws that work in the system and they know how to use those laws to their advantage. They can actually sue you. A recent case was the Bridgeview result and then one client that happened. We still don't know how the case ended. They just left us in shambles. But the client went there assuming that he or she has booked a particular room, got there, and then it got heated because the client claimed what they saw online and what they got there to actually go and book or actually go and sleep in was different from what they saw online. And that's not what they wanted. They wanted exactly what they saw online that they paid for. And according to management and the owner of the place who came in to make the whole thing heated was saying what they saw online and what they are seeing here are two different things and they are not the same. And the client is saying, I didn't see that. You placed it over there. I'm not sure any random customer went out there to put out that particular kind of content on their listing page, on the various listing platforms that they are using to promote their businesses. So if a client comes and say, I saw room A and I'm paying for room A, you can't go and give that client room B. In as much as the client came online to narrate the whole thing and all that, and you came back to say that's not how it happened and you're trying to prove it, they even went ahead to make a lawsuit that they're going to sue the clients for defamatory comments made against them and all that. Those are some of the violations that can happen when you are trying to protect your identity online or trying to protect your intellectual property, which is hence the business in this situation. So let's all be self-aware in terms of the kind of things we post online, because it raised a lot of arguments back and forth. There was a variety of opposition views. People were trying to share their own opinions, analyzing the situation and saying, okay, based on how things are going, I think the woman was right. Some people are also saying the business was right, and a whole lot. So when it comes to situations like that, there are a variety of plays in there, from the defamatory comments to the brand management itself, where the company itself have to manage their reputation online because they were relaying information that wasn't consistent. And in situations like that, you need a very good PR to handle something like that, which will then help the business. If you don't put correct PR, if you don't put correct PR situations in your business, realize that in situations like that, you don't have any control over the situation because the CEO was spitting out different kind of content. Some users were also saying they had similar experiences. Some users were also saying the CEO is not really like that. The place is a good place. So there were a variety of comments. And if you are someone who is interested in such situations and understanding how businesses protect their identity and reputation online, you would find interest in such situations and then learn a lot because of the diverse situations that were happening, because everyone was saying something new. At the end of the day, the last comments that we heard from the CEO himself was he is taking the lady to court for making defamatory comments about his business and he himself, but we never heard back from them. So I hope they've resolved it nice and calmly. So back to intellectual property infringement. Some of the common infringements that happen online are the copyright violations, where people can just come and take your content and go and post it elsewhere, come and take your content and claim ownership of it, or even piracy, where you know you're supposed to pay for a movie, but you don't pay for it, and then pass the back end and go and get those movies and all that. And also streaming content online that you've not paid for because you've hacked into the system or find a loophole to enter the system. They are all copyright infringements and violations that you are doing. Like Brother Ishmael mentioned earlier on, with all these things that happen, every platform that you log on to before you create an account, there's always terms and conditions over there that you normally accept. There are always privacy concerns that we have to take. There's a GDPR system in place also to protect businesses and individuals in terms of the content they put online. So if you are putting content online and people are stealing it, I think the basic way to go about that is to have a fair idea of how these copyright infringements work, how intellectual property protects your content online, and the kind of platforms you're putting them on. So far as you know how the platform works, you've read their terms and conditions and their privacy policy consent, then you'll be able to protect your content on there. So that's one thing that I think we should take knowledge about and then try to work around it as time goes on. We might be making the mistakes before, but I think after this session, most of us will be enlightened to make better decisions next time we are online and how to put our content online as well. The other advantage, the other infringement that happens online is trademark infringement, where this happens with, excuse me to say, the China product, where you see a shoe that's not from Nike, but they write Mike on it with still the swash sign. That's a trademark infringement. You're trying to use their brand to represent something else that is not DS. So that's a trademark infringement that when they take it up to you, they are going to sue you and you're going to pay a lot of cost to that. And then we have the patent breaches where people pick up people's software and then try to create a very similar version of it or the exact version of it using the models of the original owners. That could also land you in trouble once the original owners see what's happening. And then it comes to the counterfeit also. When you go and buy a fake iPhone, you will know you bought a fake iPhone. The iPhone company, if they have that time and they don't have anything, they can go about suing all the fake companies, trying to steal their models, trying to steal their designs and all that, and then sue them for that. And then we have the unlicensed software where you pick up software that you don't pay for and trying to use a cracked version of it. If they are to track all the IP addresses using their softwares or in their system, they'll be able to track it down and then come and sue you and all that. And then we have the domain squatting where a lot of hackers or a lot of phishing systems used to steal people's information. So you see a bank, let me put it this way, you see your bank's website having a similar domain name to another one. The original bank one might be, let's say, zenithbank.com. But because they are running in multiple countries and they want to have more control over their domain and content online, they might create or they might end up creating zenithbank.com.gh. That is to tailor their content on that particular platform or the business on that particular platform to only the Ghanaians. If they want to do Nigeria, they'll do .ng and all that, so on and so forth. Now, when hackers want to steal information also, they can then target some of these companies, create a similar looking page, and probably in the domain name, they can just change one or two things over there. So you might not see it when you are trying to log onto your bank platform, and you end up thinking you're banking on your bank platform, but you end up banking on a fraudster's platform or on a phishing website where they can steal all your bank information, your credit card details, and then a whole lot, force you to make unlawful transactions and all that. So when you're online trying to do things online, please be careful of the domain names that you visit. Make sure you double check. And anytime you visit a domain that the browser tells you that the domain you're visiting is not protected or it's not secure, don't bother going beyond to find out what is not secure there. Once you see that, just move away from it because automatically the browsers have antiviruses and anti-trackers in there that can sense. Sometimes they can really sense that you are visiting a phishing website where they can steal your password and all that. So when you're on those platforms and you go beyond the notification or the warning given to you, you realize that they still tell you that you are on a platform that can steal your information and all this and all that. So you should be aware and they are not liable to the damages that it will cost you. So let's be aware of that as well. Some of the importance of safeguarding your intellectual property on the digital platforms is that it gives you more digital exposure. The consistency in your content gives you digital exposure. People get to know you. So when someone is trying to steal your content or someone is trying to misuse your content, people can then defend you. People can come to you on your behalf without you necessarily having to put them in place to protect your content for you. And then it also helps in proliferation of your platform as well. It helps you in terms of avenues that your content is traveling to. If you don't want your content on a certain platform, you can easily message the platform owners and they can take it down for you or protect it for you. The same way also, it can help in revenue generation and then build your brand integrity that, like I was mentioning earlier on in the bridge views case. In as much as they are trying to protect themselves, they have to think of the integrity of the business. They have to think of the reputation of the business. So it's not just because you have access to internet and you have access to speak your mind out, you just come out and then be saying things back and forth and then contradicting yourself. Automatically, you're trying to position the business in a bad light if you try to do that. So if you're a business owner out here, you don't need to be a huge business to be able to consider all the aspects of the intellectual property rights. I'll get into that further on. But as young as you are in a business, you can start putting certain things in place to help you. So when you see business content out there, they have the R beside their logo that's registered. When you see C on something, that's copyright and all that. Automatically gives you the full awareness that that content you are seeing is fully protected. Anytime you try to duplicate that content on all that, they can come to you in any way that they want because they placed an awareness campaign over there for you to know that content is trademarked or copyrighted. So some advantages of safeguarding your intellectual property on the digital platforms is that you get to maintain exclusive rights to your content. Nobody can steal your work or use your work without your consent or distribute your content without your consent. Like they mentioned earlier on with the news system, you can't go and pick someone's content and feature it on your website for free. You need to at least compensate them. And I've had instances where some news platforms in Ghana here have picked some of my content and then repurposed it on their platform without even a callback or a referral link to say this is where this content was picked from. If you watch BBC and Co and you read some of their news articles and things, you realize that even the images that they use, they tell you where the images are coming from. If it's they will tell that the images from Getty Images, the images from stock, wherever the image is coming from, the photographer that took the image takes his copyright share of the content being used. So if you use any of those platforms, that's why when you go on Google, there are some images that you see watermark in there is to protect the owner of the image and then the photographer that took that image as well as the platform distributing that image. So when you go on there and see those images, please and please and please again, especially for business owners, don't go and pick those contents with the watermark in there and put it on your website and put it on your content that you're putting out there. I've seen several instances where business owners, individuals go and then pick copyrighted images and trademark images, pick them without any referencing back to where they pick them from, and then just put them on their platform. Some of them use it as far as their website. It can cost you a lot, and if it costs you a lot, you're going to run at a loss. Another advantage is that it helps you with monetization. You can easily make money from your content once you safeguard your intellectual properties online. Once you safeguard your content they are putting on the digital platforms, you can easily make money from it. Similar example would be the earlier on example that I gave you about the pallbearers and then how they made money out of that. Also, it helps protect your business. Your business becomes more well organized because as a business owner and then as a strategist, normally when I go online and I see such images on people's websites, especially on people's contents, automatically sends a negative signal that you are not serious about your business because no business or serious business owner would go and pick any kind of image with watermark on it, trademark, and then just come and put it on your website because you needed that particular image and you don't want to pay for it. It's kind of a Ghanaian thing. I've worked with a couple of clients internationally, and some of these things are extremely important to them as compared to the Ghanaian companies that don't care about what is going on in here. Whether you use the images for free or not, they don't care. So another advantage of safeguarding your property is that it gives you market exclusivity. So when I put, let's use the Coca-Cola example again. When you see original Coke, you know this is original Coke. When you see a duplicate of it, you know. The same way when it is original Coke and it is the duplicate of it, you know this is not the original one. So it gives you that exclusiveness in the market and people recognize you easily by that as well. And also in that light, it helps you build trust for the kind of business that you are in. So if Coca-Cola's Coke becomes default today, let's say you taste it and then it doesn't taste good today, you can easily go back and then sue Coca-Cola or tell them that there's something wrong with this particular drink and they are going to compensate you for that because you've identified it. But if you are not aware of that, well, it goes down the drain like that. But the business owners or the businesses that are in this kind of space are really concerned about this, especially for the big brands. And that applies to a small brand. If you're a popcorn seller at the roadside, you can actually protect how your popcorn is looking. If someone is trying to steal the popcorn you are doing and then make a fake version or a lower grade version of it, you can actually go to that person. I'm not saying go and slap the person and cause a fight, but you can go to that person and then straighten things up to help protect your image. So if the people that usually buy from you buy your popcorn, they know this is from this particular person. It's not from the other person trying to duplicate your style of creating that popcorn or doing that popcorn. So that protects you in a way. So intellectual property goes beyond just the online aspect. If you're a business owner doing any physical business and someone is trying to steal that kind of business or duplicate how you're doing your business, you can actually take it up to the person, either via legal means or bilateral agreements for the person to stop doing that. So it goes beyond just you trying to, put your business out there and then just walk away with it. Now, there's a real life scenario that I highlighted for us to have a more technical view of it. So there was a company called Napster, and they started in the late 1990s. So it was a file sharing platform that was used for distributing music and then downloading music without the copyright allowance from the music owners or their labels. Now, what happened is that as time went by, people realized that I put out music out there, I'm not making money from it, but yet everyone is benefiting from the music. A similar example would be for GhanaMotion.com. I don't know if most of you remember them. When artists release music today, they go and pick that music and they put their voice watermark on it. So you listen to the music, and in between the music, yeah, GhanaMotion.com. Yet GhanaMotion didn't contribute a single person to creating that music or distributing that music. They just went to pick it, put their names on it. And later on, there was a lawsuit against them and all that. And then they ended up stopping the whole thing. So a similar thing happened to Napster. They were doing something similar like that. And then later on, there was a couple of lawsuits that was filed against them and all that. And they had to stop business and then go out of business and all that. So they were distributing their content that was created by the various artists illegally. So unauthorized distribution of the content. And then they were also sharing content without any compensation to the business, to the content creator or the music owner, because we are focused on music. I'm using music terms now. So the labels that were creating the music weren't getting anything from it. They weren't even in awareness that their content is being distributed here and then, all that. And then it became a lawsuit. So later on, the repercussions that happened was that there was a legal suit against them. All the top from Dr. Dre to Metallica to all that sued them, and then later on they won. After winning the case, there was a whole lot of series of things that happened to them. They had to shut down their business. They had to compensate the artists that they've all shared their platform, their music on their platform. They had to compensate all of them. And then after a while, there were little discussions here and then. I think there was a balance in between there. So they ended up coming back again and then starting the whole business all together. But this time it was a well modernized music store where now they sell music through that platform to make money for themselves and then also make money for the artists or the record labels that own the music. So they've become more like a music distribution system where they help sell music for artists and all that. So this is a typical example of how a real life situation can be just by distributing music. And a typical example would be for our Ghanaian people. That was GhanaMotion.com. Until now, I'm not sure any of you have heard that particular phrase on any music at all. When even on Spotify don't even put their name or their brand name inside the owner's music because they don't own the music. The only thing Spotify do if they're not on the paid version and you're using the free version is to put adverts in between, but they can't put their name on your music because they don't own that music, neither do they contribute towards that music. So when you go online and are trying to pick someone's content, just know that. And a similar example to be on TikTok and then I think Instagram and Facebook. When people post video content, you realize that there are 2 or 3 watermarks in there. Everyone is trying to take copyright for the music or the content being shared online. So you realize that let's say I post a content, maybe a funny video. I'm doing something funny and I forgot to watermark it, or I watermarked it but faintly. Another person will go and pick my content and put their watermark in their body. And because a third party or a third person wants to also share it, They're also going to pick that same content, which is mine, being distributed by person two or person three. Getting to person four, the person four also picks it up, put their watermark in there, so that to gain them that brand visibility for people to come and then check their profile out or check what they post on their system. So in doing all this, it can hurt you in the long way, it can hurt you in the short way as well. I can easily do a trace back and find out, because probably I know how to trace back content. I can easily do a trace back and find out where my content is being used and then how to take actions on them. But if you're someone who is not versed into that, you might end up, having a wrong message out there just in case they are not representing you the way you were supposed to be represented. You might end up sending the wrong message out there. 1 minute. Okay. All right. So that's it for the copyright and then the implications of it. I want to highlight one last thing. Okay. So one other way that you can promote or safeguard your copyright content online is by doing consistent content creation and sharing. The more people know about you, the more people get to learn how your style of content are, the more people get to understand your type of content. Hence, you can then monetize that content and protect that content. You can also have webinars and online workshops to help educate people on your kind of content and then let them understand your products or services that you offer. You can also go through it by social media engagements where people engage with you, you also display and then share information with them. And then there are online IP portfolios that you can also register under to help protect your content that you put out there. There are collaborations and partnerships that you can do, like the Instagrams, the YouTube, Spotify, and co. You can also run digital ad campaigns to help protect and build your IP or your intellectual property online. And then there are online monitoring as well, like the Google alerts that would help you send you notice whenever your content is mentioned online. There's Brand 24. There are a couple of them out there. And then there are demonstrations as well that you can use to build that kind of system for yourself where you know exactly where your content is being shared, distributed, and then being utilized. Now, how can I help you, or how can BrandNet help you in this situation? We have personalized IP consultations where we have sessions where we understand what is going on with you and valuing your whole brand, valuing your content online and all that, and then come up with strategies for you. We can also do social media audits for you just to have a mention of what is going on online when your name is mentioned online or your business name is mentioned online. We also do educational workshops from time to time, educating people on similar aspects of this. And then we do the listening guidance, and then we do the infringement monitoring as well. So anytime your brand is misused online, we can prompt you on that and then take the necessary steps. We have the dispute resolution as well. We have the dispute resolution as well, where we help you manage what's going on online in terms of your brand mentioning. And then we have the branding one. So the 7 and 9 is what we normally do often because of how we do it. One thing I recommend to businesses to help them protect their identity and their IP online is to have own self-made content or self-owned content, where when you want to do a flyer, the picture on the flyer, the person you're using over there is someone that you have taken picture of. So you have the rights to use that picture. If you go and use a picture online that you don't have the rights to, it's going to hurt you in the long run. The person can come and sue you. If you go and use my picture on your flyer without telling me, people see and tell me that, hey, I've seen that you're on this product. Are you endorsing it? I'll come back and then hand to the company that used me and then make sure they compensate me for using my picture. The same way when they come and use your content, your music, your picture, your anything at all, you can actually go and then sue them and make your money back. So far as you're protecting your content online, you have the right to go ahead and then demand justification when it's not used properly or it's used without your consent. So basically that wraps it up for my session. So our key takeaways from this session is the digital evolution. Yes, things have changed, but you also have to change along and learn along to be able to catch up. The IP control is essential for every business. So it helps in how your content is distributed, how your content is being used online, who is using your content, and how you can benefit from it. And then your role also, how to protect and then put your content out there that protects your image and then promotes you as well. And also with this kind of things, information is changing from time to time. So hence, you have to keep up to date and then consistency in terms of what's happening, what's changing in the IP world, in the consistency world, in the copyright world, and then learn alongside. If there are new laws, you have to know about it and how it can help or hurt your business as well. So when you have all this in mind, it helps you, stay on track anytime you are putting content out there and then doing things out there. I think that will wrap up for my session. Thank you for your attention. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. But I think there's a small Q&A coming up. So if you have any questions, I think all the guests are also available. You could just pick up your questions and then answer them as to who you want them to answer. Thank you all for listening, and that'll wrap up for my session.
Thank you so much for that very enlightening presentation. Well, folks, there you have it. If you are seeking to build your brand as a person, as a corporation, you know who to see. That is Edwin Della and the team at Brand Nerds. They are there to help you with whatever digital market problems you might have. And so you came here with questions, and so we will take one question from the Q&A since we are running out of time. So from Oye Koranteng, she says, to the first speaker, that is Mr. Ishmael Andani, has there been any significant court ruling in Ghana in relation to IP or copyright laws on social media? Has there been any? Yes.
I have not come across any yet. Despite looking thoroughly, I have not come across any. Most of the cases in the tech and law space are more criminal in nature. So revenge porn, stuff like that. Yeah. But in terms of specifically IP related, social media related, I'm yet to come across it.
So if I could jump in, the personal friend of mine is going through an IP court case. I think you guys will know him. His name is Kobe Spike in Nkrumah. So he creates beats, and he has put some of the beats he created on SoundCloud and on other social media. But CAF used his sound productions, his beats, without his knowledge, and used it to promote one of the African Cup events. So the case is currently in court. It's still ongoing in court. But yeah, and so the jurisdiction is Ghana, but he is dealing with CAF all the way in Egypt. So the case is still in court at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay. So and how to protect such content. I will end with something big on orthodoxy. Let me throw it to the panel. Whatever you are working on creating, feel free to plug it to the audience. If there's any products or creations or content, or simply those listening, if they want to come and find you online, where can they find you and all that? So we'll start with Mr. Abdullah.
Oh, in terms of products, I don't have any commercial products for sale. We are not supposed to be touting, so I'll skip that. Thank you.
All right. Okay. And what of you, with Ms. Sawache?
So I'm on YouTube. My name Winston Watcher. You can search me. I have recently dropped planning on actually I haven't finished yet, but it's a course on how to use Google's version of ChatGPT. So I do a full course, a beginner's course on this for free. So you can check it out on YouTube. Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Edwin Della? You are mute, please.
All right, sorry. Welcome to Zoom. So I was saying that I have a short 2 minutes presentation I would like to do. We just launched Script-Based AI. It's a generative AI platform that just launched about 2 weeks ago. Script-based AI is basically a unified AI platform that has all the features that you're looking for to use on your platform that you pay for various platforms to use. So you have the text-to-speech features on there. You have the transcription services on there also. You have the generative content where you have various templates from academic purposes to business to personal needs as well on there that you don't need to have a lot of AI knowledge about to be able to use it. They are pre-made template that just go on there. Whatever your need be, you put it in there and then it gives you responses to that. We also have the text to image where you can put in a text and then generate images for you. And we have the coding assistant where if you are trying to write a code and you're not finding your way around it, you can easily go there and the coding assistant will help you write your code. And the sixth main feature that we have is chatbot, AI chatbot, where you have specialized chatbots for various things. So probably even with the IP and then copyright things like this, you can go on there, select any of the chatbot that is related to that or the content or lawyer chatbots, and then you have a conversation with it. It gives you much more information about how to go about some of these things and then how to find your way and protect yourself online. And because we like money and we all like money in Ghana here, we've added the affiliate system where you can easily make money from our platform by using a referral code that is generated when you sign up. And then once you share that code with your friends, you get a 10% commission on any package that they choose. So we have 3 packages on there. Any of the packages that someone signs up with using your promo code, you make a 10% commission on their first purchase. So that's the new product that we put out here. And we are hoping that at least from this session, most of you go and try it out. It's free to register, so you don't have to pay to register. The website is www.scriptbrace.com. I'll put it in the chat session. Yeah, so it's in the chat session. I think we should all show me love. It's Ghana's first premium generative AI platform. We don't have anything like that in Ghana. Oh, sorry. That's the first of its kind in Ghana here so far. And I think you should all try it out, and then I would be glad to hear your feedbacks and then the improvement that we can do to help it become a bigger platform for Ghana and then Africa at large. Thank you.
Yes, you are muted.
Sorry. All right. All right. Sorry. People often talk about how the continent is lacking in innovators, and so kindly go and check out a true innovator in the tech and in the artificial intelligence space that is right here in Ghana. There's a question. Someone was wondering if they could have the slides. Uh, Kindly leave your email in the comments, and we would certainly get that to you. And then there was a question, I'm sure that would go to Mr. Abdullah. How long does copyright protection last? Someone wants to know, please.
Okay, so I always say when it comes to copyright protection, then the magic number is 70. Okay, so for the owner of copyright, for your life, you can enjoy copyright, and you technically still enjoy it for up to 70 years after you are dead, right? So the point here being that throughout your lifetime plus 70 years, that's how long copyright lasts. So if you are wondering what happens after this, after you are gone, your estate, so your estate takes over. So your interests can be inherited by someone. Yeah, so it's quite a long time. And if let me just take a few seconds to just give an example of something like this happening. So those of you who are familiar with the animated movie, The Lion King, there's this very popular song in it, The Lion Sleeps Tonight.
Yeah.
So the original author of that song was South African, Solomon Linda. And apparently he died penniless. And there had been different iterations of the original song until Lion King was released, I believe, in 1994. And his family made a case, and they apparently they got very well paid. I mean, it was negotiated, so we don't have the details. Yeah. So after his death, his family received some money from Disney in respect of that. So it's valuable.
That was a very interesting anecdote, and I think that will punctuate the end of our webinar nicely. So before we go, if you would like to find out more about us, or you have any comments, questions, the website is korantenglaw.com. It is currently under maintenance, and so you can send any comments, questions, inquiries to our LinkedIn page, Koranteng and Koranteng Legal Advisors, or to our Instagram page. All right, so gentlemen, it has been fantastic sharing a panel with you. I've learned so much, and hopefully the audience has taken something away from them. And personally, I could have sat through a couple more hours of this, but that's all the time we have. And so, thank you all.
All right, thank you too.
All right, so goodbye, and hopefully we might work together in the future.
Thank you.
All right.